At dawn on November 4th, 1966, Florence woke to a sound it had not heard in centuries, the sound of a river breaking its promise. Rain had fallen for days, steady and relentless, soaking the hills of Tuscany until the ground could hold no more. The Arno River, usually a gentle ribbon winding past Renaissance palaces, began to rise. At first, people watched calmly from bridges. Florence had seen floods before. It always survived. But this time, the water did not stop. By early morning, the river burst through its embankments. Mud-brown water surged into the streets, smashing doors from their hinges, swallowing cars, tearing away shop fronts like paper. Oil tanks ruptured upstream, mixing fuel with sewage and debris, turning the flood into a choking, poisonous tide. Bells rang in confusion. Power failed. The city slipped into silence, except for the roar of water. Inside centuries-old churches and libraries, something worse than destruction was unfolding. Priceless manuscripts floated loose from their shelves, wooden crucifixes toppled face first into sludge. Paintings that had survived wars and plagues were submerged in darkness. In the Basilica of Santa Croce, the flood rose higher than a man's chest, coating Cimabue's great crucifix in thick corrosive mud. People climbed to rooftops and waited. Some waited all day. Some waited all night. Soldiers arrived in amphibious vehicles, pulling the elderly from windows, lifting children from makeshift rafts. No one knew how high the water would climb, or what Florence would look like when it receded. Then came the moment of realization. As the flood stalled and slowly began to fall, the city saw the damage clearly for the first time. Over 1 million books were soaked. Thousands of artworks were ruined or on the brink of collapse. Florence hadn't just been flooded, it had been wounded in its memory. And yet, something extraordinary followed. Volunteers arrived from everywhere. Students, artists, restorers, ordinary people who had never held a medieval manuscript before. They formed human chains, passing books hand to hand through streets still slick with oil and mud. They became known as the Mud Angels. With bare hands and aching backs, they fought time itself, trying to save what water had spared. Some treasures were lost forever. Others carry scars to this day. But Florence endured, not because it was untouched, but because people refused to let its story wash away. The flood of 1966 left behind destruction, yes, but also a reminder. Culture survives not because it is immortal, but because it is loved enough to be saved. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps keep these stories alive.